Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shitting in a Target podcast, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, I'm joined here by my special guest, co-host today, Jack Bettis.
Hello there, and I would like to.
Why are you doing the rapist voice?
What?
We just watched Scream, so I think he's really embracing the rapist voice.
Sorry, guys.
There's our boy. We're just making a podcast, that's all.
I much appreciate the seating as we're currently sitting in
Dinosaur!
Dinosaur beanbag.
So, let me scoot over a little bit. So for today's episode, we're going to be talking about Scream 6. We just got out of the theater. Initial thoughts. What do you think?
You know, I think we differ on our ratings. I'm rating the movie pretty high.
What would you rate it?
7.5.
7.5? I'd give it a 6.5.
Okay.
It was there was a lot of interesting things, but it was definitely a modern horror movie. Is definitely something to keep in mind. There's one scene that's really good. We'll get into it later, but it takes place on a train. It's definitely the highlight of the movie.
This is a 90-minute podcast. We should keep that in mind.
So, for a modern horror, for any horror movie, the train scene is actually really good. But
do you think there were any? What are some major points that you think took the score down? Because you're at a 6.5.
The message was way too shoved in your face.
Agree.
Because most of the time, they shoved it right down your face.
They should leave more to the imagination next
Sisters,
time.
we're sisters. Family above all. That was kind of the message, but
Yeah, and the line at the end that was like, "You messed with our family," and then she like stabs him in the face. That's just
it was at the very end of the movie. It's
just
really dumb.
It falls off a cliff in the last 15 minutes ish.
The movie has this great build up for the entire thing, and then the final reveal. Every Scream movie has a reveal, but this one was definitely down.
The drop into the ramp was amazing, and he hit the landing so goddamn hard.
He did not get the triple 900.
No,
he did not.
Not
He
even
did
a
not.
little bit. Not even close.
Not even Tony Hawk.
It almost seemed like he was about to.
It did.
He was
did.
pulling it and then just phased right.
He started flipping and the board just flew away.
Not even kicked. It just started levitating off his feet.
So I guess this is where we get into spoiler territory. Let's talk about the ending.
I already talked about the guy getting stabbed in the face.
Well, no, but you don't.
But that's my bad.
Yeah, you don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into spoilers
There's lots
now.
of guys who get stabbed.
So at the very end of the movie, there's a big build up, all the characters, and then the people who were the murderers were exactly who you thought it would be.
Yeah, they had so much opportunity for like expectation subversion, and we both called the killers like the second they were on screen.
It was really obvious from the very beginning.
It was really obvious.
Like there was nothing in the movie that just, the Scream movies, they're not really known for being.
Yeah, they're rather formulaic.
They're pretty obvious, but this one, because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the last one. I thought they were gonna change something up, especially because they were talking about like we need to change it because this is a franchise now. That was a big plot point in the movie.
They talked about how it would change, and then they didn't change.
Well, that's always been the joke of the Scream franchise. It's just it makes fun of what movies are at the time.
But you can at least make a good movie while making fun of it.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the ending. So, the killers. Normally I don't think this is the first time there's been 3. I think. It really doesn't make sense. So instead of being Billy Loomis or his family, it's the killers from the last one. The dude, it's his family. And it just comes out of nowhere. Like it makes sense that they did it, but it comes out of nowhere. And the reveal kind of ruins some of the movie. Because the train scene, which was so good,
it's like right after the train scene.
The suspense relies so heavily. The train scene relies so heavily on those characters being innocent, right? Yeah. And the family, once you watch the movie, you're like, oh, the train scene doesn't even matter anymore.
And also, how was the detective a detective? Because he was an actual detective.
Yeah, so
But then it turns out he was the murderer, but he was the detective the entire time. And it's like, how do you become a chief detective in a year?
big plot point
No
there. So in the last movie, the dude's family, the killer from the last one, he dies,
Yep.
and so his family gets really angry, and the dad becomes a police officer in New York, of all places. I don't know why New York.
Did he know that they were moving to New York?
I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. So
And if he did, it would have taken 6 months because they just got into college 6 months ago.
yeah, so he's like a really high level police chief. He just joined the force, but how? Especially in a city like New York.
Oh, I think it was that he was already a police chief, and then
Well, no,
he
'cause-
learned that they were going to that college, and he transferred.
No, that doesn't make sense though, because
He requested a transfer to New York.
the sister Quinn, she's like, my dad joined the day my brother died.
What?
Like he joined the force because my brother died. So
Was I in the bathroom during that? Never mind.
you might have been. I think you were. Yeah, you were.
Okay. That makes sense.
It didn't make any sense. I mean, why did they do that? But yeah, a lot of the suspense of the movie gets ruined because of the final reveal.
I love how I gave it a 7.5, and I'm only saying negative things.
But okay, let's talk about the positives for a little bit.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy about the movie?
I thought that they did a good job of keeping the main two characters dynamic while not trying to push anything too hard. They weren't, as I was saying before, they weren't Jordan Peeling it, trying to tackle every world issue.
Speaking of Jordan Peele, there's a small cameo
Oh, yeah.
of Jordan Peele in the movie. It's not actually Jordan Peele, but there's a scene on the train where a bunch of people are dressed up as the family from Us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, one of the best parts of the movie, Jenna Ortega, her tits,
Oh.
amazing,
I
flawless.
thought you were going to talk about her as an actress. But,
Oh no, great acting there, but let's
also
talk about her tits for a
the
second.
Totally understand.
How? I
I
mean,
mean-
she's so tiny, but
Good.
it's great,
It's
It's really great.
28 for no reason.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. How old was she supposed to be in that movie?
I have no idea.
Because she's all getting drunk and getting high and
but
stuff.
no, well, she's in college. They're all in college.
Yeah,
She's in college.
the older sister wasn't though. She was just living in.
Yeah, she moved there because the Jenna Ortega girl got into college.
But dude, Jenna Ortega's tits were the
Oh.
highlight of the movie, especially because there's a scene where she, for the end of the movie, she's wearing this blue crop top looking thing.
I think.
They look
By the way,
mad.
this is. I love how we haven't mentioned this yet in this podcast. We're in a Target currently.
We are in the children's
We're in the
aisle.
Target, and a Target employee just walked past us and didn't even acknowledge the fact that there's currently a podcast happening in the Target. Is it still recording? Check.
It's still recording.
Cool.
Speaking of which,
How far are we into the podcast?
let's check. We are 8 minutes in.
So far, this is a legitimate podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did it just
Hold
close?
No.
Oh no, we're okay. We're
Yeah.
all right. Speaking of podcasts,
We have to get our tight 90 minutes in.
what is the name of this podcast? We haven't decided yet.
Ooh.
How about
Are we gonna continue this in Are we just gonna go to stores and sit down in the beanbag section?
we call it Bros and Bags? Beanbags.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that one out loud. We're good.
How about we call it Beaner Bags?
Yeah. So good.
Speaking of Target, this is definitely off topic, but every time we go into a Target, we have an amazing experience. The first time we went into Target, we met our friends Jeff and Shay. Shout out to y'all.
We got shamed for supposedly almost getting kidnapped, but they were cool.
Oh yeah, they gave us a ride home. We made a cookie review with them. Check that out. It's on the Sparkman YouTube channel. So make sure to check
Where
that
is
out.
this likely going, if I had to guess?
I don't know. We'll have to
Okay.
see. All right. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. The movie. What else was good? What else did we enjoy?
Other than Jenna Ortega's tits.
There-
Chad. Such a good
Oh
character.
my goodness.
Always great.
So,
Chad's
last movie, obviously.
stand Chad.
Yeah, in the last movie, we had Chad, you know, Millie, I think that's her name, her brother.
Yeah.
Chad is... There's nobody better than Chad.
He's the man in this movie. And he also somehow survives like 40 stabs at the end.
Well, because he's Chad. And
he's
speaking of Chad, that was my nickname for about 3 months when I was in high school. So
So you really felt a personal connection
I was
to this,
really,
to this
I was
character,
really
Chad.
standing Chad.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know,
we all should. We really should.
You know,
The absolute man.
there was something about Chad, man. There's a great scene. There's like 4 scenes where Chad has to fight people, like the killers.
Yeah.
And he
beats the shit out of
I mean,
all
he
of them.
just like he desecrates. Is that the word?
He should have kept going though. He keeps hitting them, leaving them on the ground, and then running away.
Well, 'cause
he
it's-
could have just stomped.
Because it's a horror movie, you know,
Yeah,
they have to do the tropes.
I
But
know. But,
dude,
they set him
like-
up to be, they set him up to be like the savior, you know?
dude, there's this scene.
God, he's a badass.
There's this scene with Chad, near the end of the movie, and there's like a big chase. Big chase between the killers, and so Chad grabs a huge camcorder from the 80s that was on display and just smashes it into the killer's head, and then he grabs it, keeps running with it. He's running down the hall and just throws it on their head
Awesome
again.
that he subverted the trope of like using a weapon once and then putting it down. Like he hit him, kept it, and then threw it at him.
And dude, this guy can dodge, man.
Oh.
There's like 40 times that the killers swing their knives at him. He just like
They gotta learn quicker stabs, man. They were full. He's the one person to dodge a full wind-up stab somehow.
On the topic of stabs, something that really bothered me about this movie: overuse of stab sound effects.
I
Of
agree
like
that
the knife.
Sink.
Yeah, so anytime the killer moved the knife, you heard shing, shing, shing.
But that is kind of like the Scream staple.
I know,
You
but
kind of need that.
I feel like it got worse from the last ones. Especially because this movie, compared to all the other ones, had way more chase scenes and knife flashings. And
Yeah, I feel like they turned it a little more into a traditional slasher on this one.
No, not even slasher. I feel like this was more just like modern action kind. Because, you know, in modern action movies, you get a lot of big epic battle, lots of like rolling around, dodging the knife, and then like at the last moment, you grab the knife. But it's whatever.
But honestly, I think another plus of the film is that they kept a good balance between classic Scream tropes, like the silent kill in the background while somebody's on the phone, and like, you know, like you said, keep like switching it into more of an action movie standpoint.
And so this has been a problem with me since the very first Scream movie. How does everybody do the Ghostface voice?
Well, she called it a voice, or the guy who died first, he called it a voice modulator. At
Well,
the
because
beginning.
they were like,
He was like,
they
"Put
were
down the voice
Ghostface
modulator."
stans, you know? They knew everything about Ghostface.
Yeah.
But at the very end of the movie, the main chick, she calls the killer.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, did she just like find the modulator, or did she...
Well, I mean, it's not like it's definitely plausible because the final act takes place in like a warehouse full
That's
of
what I'm saying.
like Scream memorabilia,
but
but
she had the suit on.
like seriously, what?
Maybe it's in the classic masks.
Okay.
Like all the masks on the mannequins, maybe they just have it.
And I'm sorry, but I was so confused. There's about 3 scenes in this movie.
We even do the podcast of...
There's about 3 scenes in this movie where Billy Loomis just pops up as a ghost. What's up with that? Scream has never been like a supernatural series.
Whole ghost. Entirely. Well,
Or
it's a vision from the standpoint of Sam.
Yeah,
Who's like borderline psychotic.
Yeah, Sam is like super messed up. So
Yeah,
I mean,
she's, like, pretty
she's
crazy.
probably seen her like a psychotic episode, but
Yeah, it's a vision, definitely.
but still, like it's kind of a ghost because it's not just Billy Loomis. He's aged up. He's like an actual old man now.
Yeah, that is weird. It's not...
And on the topic of them being family, who did Billy Loomis do it with? Because, I mean, Sam is like Indian or something, right? She's got that brown tan, like, you know, Dominican cinnamon tan.
Okay, I don't
Billy Loomis...
know about Dominican cinnamon, but...
Well, I mean, you know, that kind of like...
Yeah.
You know,
That's
that's...
a tan.
Yeah. And Billy Loomis is like Oreo cream white.
Yeah.
You know, like cloud white.
Real white.
You know what I'm talking about? Like fresh Nike white. And it just didn't make sense. And also, wasn't Billy like 16 when he died? Or no,
Honestly,
18,
I
19,
haven't-
20?
I haven't.
He was pretty young.
I'm not a studier of a Scream franchise. I barely remember like
He
most of
died
the
when,
other movies.
yeah, he died when he was pretty young. So like, how did it just the movie had so many plot holes? I mean, good plot holes to have, but
Yeah.
it didn't make sense, a lot of it.
And given honestly, but as far as modern horror movies go, I did not have very high expectations, and like
It was either this movie or Cocaine Bear.
it was this movie or Cocaine Bear. I definitely think we chose the right option.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, the train scene alone was better than
The
Cocaine
the
Bear.
train scene was honestly one of the best.
And I'm glad it wasn't like glossed over. Like they really spent time making it memorable.
The train scene might have been one of the best like scenarios I've ever seen in any horror movie. It was like very impactful and very very suspenseful.
It just sucks that it was the build up to just a crappy ending.
Yeah. And after you finish the movie, the train scene's kind of ruined. But
Yeah.
first time viewing, the train scene is amazing, really good.
Also, the second the guy, the son, was revealed as the killer, he turns into the most annoying little shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's annoying. The son, he goes through the whole movie being a little, little whiner, a little stinker.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I really can't be the killer. I was at study hall. You can ask my grandma.
Oh my god. And the whole movie, the one girl with the, I already forgot her name, the one who got stabbed Millie. The whole movie, Millie's like, he's the killer. He's at the top of my list. And he was. It's like, dude. But they still let him in, even after, like, he's obviously the killer, They still let him in the final thing when they're like, you remember when she stopped Danny, who literally saved her life? She was like, no, you can't come in here, we don't know you. And they know that random dude? No, they don't. No, they don't. It makes no sense. They should have kept Danny. Him and Chad would have been the dynamic duo. Oh, my God. Love Danny. That's another one. We stand Danny. The ladder and the ladder window to window trick.
He honestly did not get enough scream. Wait. If it's a Scream movie, Scream time. He didn't get enough Scream time.
Get enough scream time. Completely agree.
But Danny was a great character.
We should actually start this podcast.
Yeah.
This is great. This is really enjoyable.
Yeah, his character. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make sequels, but if they do, honestly, forget about Jenna Ortega. I just want to see him as like a main character because he's got the potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not overstep the boundaries here. His acting was not that good.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie.
It's honestly more the character they wrote for him.
The whole movie, he's talking like his voice when he's talking. He's like,
"Oh, you know, I really love you. You should really be protected. Don't do something stupid."
Like he sounds like he really has to take a shit, and he's trying to hold it in, and like seem like he doesn't because his girlfriend's right in front of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's kind of just like,
I really like you, but I understand that you don't.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's kind of his character.
What if the next movie centers, or there's no next movie, right?
I don't know. I
have no
really
idea.
don't know.
I was gonna say they should center around Danny and Chad trying to be badasses, and then like at the end, Chad's fighting Scream, and Scream gets the best of him, and then we realize that it's Danny, because he's the only one who can beat Chad.
Oh, dude,
That'd be sick.
honestly, if they make another movie,
Chad needs to be a main character.
I would love to the movie just end with Chad just beating the crap out of him.
Chad has like a full psychotic breakdown and just murders him barehanded.
Like you just like see like the flesh and the brain stick into his hand.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. I like that.
Yeah, and like Scream is like trying to use a knife. He's like stabbing Chad in the back. Chad just doesn't even care. He's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No,
I'm saying like Scream's already dead, but the reason it's psychotic is because it's a piece of plastic. It just keeps beating him. Just like Scream, no knife in his hand fully open, but it just keeps going. Because like at the end of this one, they kind of imply that like Sam broke down because she had the whole murder as she murdered,
Yeah, at the end of the movie, Sam, she goes crazy. She's like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm not like that. And then Jenna Ortega's like, bitch, stop lying. So then she stabs her in the...
She stabs him like 18 times.
it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. She did a wombo combo. Happy feet, wombo combo.
Yeah, it was nice, but it kind of sucks that like I feel like a lot of the movie was spent establishing that like she's not a murderer,
Yeah.
and then she just brutalates that guy.
In one of the whole scenes.
I'm not like my dad.
The big theme of the movie was, I don't have to be like my father, Billy Loomis. I don't have to be a killer. I'm not gonna be a killer. She just ends up stabbing it in the eye. The eye comes out.
Yeah.
It's like
New family. I'd say that was a big theme. Is like leaving your old family, bringing in new family.
And I'm sorry, but this is a trope that just started in Hollywood. This is a trope that just started in Hollywood movies, and I'm so done with it. I'm so done with it. It's already over.
What do you mean?
Like it's
Friends becoming your family.
no. Just like make your own family.
Yeah.
That it's been around for like 3, 4, 5 years now, and it's so overplayed already. Kind of just like friendship overcomes all, right?
Like you already know what the theme of the movie is gonna be when you see more than 2 friends in a film.
Mm-hmm. Like you can make your own family, but like they all kind of hate each other a little bit. You know what I mean?
About that.
Or not hate each other, but like they're like
The bond isn't believable.
yeah. If it's real life, like they would never last.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like everybody's had a friend group, it seems cool, and then you end up hating each other, and you have to make like 7 new group chats.
Hannah, Keldon. No offense, full offense. Get offended, but like no offense.
For opening scene, this Scream movie, like out of
we did come in 4 minutes late.
yeah, but we saw enough. We saw like the kills and everything.
Mm-hmm.
For an opening Scream kill, like the scene, it's definitely better than Scream 3.
Also, such a good actress to hire and then immediately kill.
Well, that's what every Scream movie does. They get like
Oh.
a really promising actor. You're like, oh, this person is obviously the.
I don't watch Scream enough, man.
So
I'm a fake podcaster.
So Scream, the first one was like about tropes, like horror tropes.
Yeah, I've seen the first one plenty of times.
Yeah, so you know, and the first one I think was actually making fun of Psycho from the 60s, Alfred Hitchcock. I think that was why they did it. Because in Psycho, you go like 37 minutes into the movie, thinking you're following this main chick, and then she just dies in the shower, right? So I'm pretty sure that's kind of what they built the franchise around. But man, this was definitely better than some of the other ones in the
I think we should leave some final thoughts and then probably get off of the beanbags and Target.
Why?
I
feel like we have so much more to talk about. Oh, speaking of which,
God.
Arizona guys, my buddy Jack here, Bettis, is first time in Arizona, first time going to Harkins theaters. Big shout out to Harkins, best movie theaters in the United States. What are your thoughts?
The amount of butter on that popcorn ruined my mouth completely.
But it's good, huh?
It is good. It is good, and I like the reusable cups.
Oh yeah, so at Harkins
$2
theaters,
refills.
they have the best deals in the entire world.
Oh yeah. We paid like maybe $20 total, and we got like refillable drinks, 2 large popcorns, and tickets. $20 total for both of us.
Yeah. Combined, we paid $20.
Or it was 22 because 4 for both the drinks, free popcorn, and then yeah, it was 22 combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was?
It's 22 per ticket, no snacks at Sunset Station.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's why we don't live in Las Vegas, folks. Arizona for the win.
That's why you don't live in Las Vegas.
Hey, Arizona for the win, buddy.
I don't have a choice, but
Hey.
you know what? Arizona for the
Bubby.
win. I'll take it.
Move on in. Move on in. 18 years old. Move on in.
We'll see
Bring,
about that
bring
one,
your
man.
girlfriend. Have some fun with it.
Sure, buddy.
Now,
Just dropped a quarter and didn't even care.
now, if there was something you could do to make the movie like a higher score, what would you change?
Ooh. I'm gonna say, man. First off, just either change the killer or just make it less obvious that the guy is gonna be the killer. Because they did a decent job disguising the redhead as a killer because they murdered her and it turned out to be fake, even though I think it was still pretty predictable. But the guy, especially in the train scene, that stare that he had, it was like, okay, you're obviously Ghostface. Like, I think. Ooh, it's hard to pinpoint.
I think I would have tried to make things way, way less obvious.
Yeah, and I think it's like the reason why it's hard to say for me is because it's less about like specific flaws in the movie and more just that overall it was kind of underwhelming. Like everything was like kind of average. It wasn't like, oh, this was amazing, but this was dog shit.
Yeah. It was like they had a really good writing staff like 75% of the time.
Yeah. So
Like
some of the
75%
writing staff took like sick days, and that's.
And like there were certain decisions in the movie that just were like, why did you do that? Like every Scream movie kind of does this, right? It's like mostly chicks as a main character. But it was weird. Like the movie would swap between having like a lot of guys to none at all.
Oh yeah, 100%. There'd be scenes where it's like full lengths of the movie with like 4 chicks, no guys, and then it'd be like 2 guys, no chicks.
And I'm sorry, but like Jenna Ortega had the biggest plot armor in the world. So like there's the first time Jenna and Sam encounter Ghostface, they're like walking past an alleyway, and Ghostface just grabs Jenna Ortega and like starts pulling her back with the knife in his hand, and she just kind of punches him in the face and runs away.
She does that multiple times where she just hits him with something and then dips, and it's like,
It really
Bro.
didn't make sense.
I'm putting up my arms in confusion. I realize there's no video, but
It just felt like so much of the movie could have kind of been changed up a little bit.
yeah.
Or like, you know what I felt?
Shout out to Arizona Targets, by the way, for not kicking us out.
Yeah, I love Arizona. My home for real.
For
So I know they would have to like change the last movie for this to come true, but I feel like changing Sam from a chick Sam to a dude Sam, like if in Scream 5 it would have been a dude, that could have that could have made things so much more interesting, because then like it would be like, okay, this guy can really protect Jenna Ortega. He's probably thinking of her as a sister. And then the Billy Loomis thing would be more... It would make more sense, because Billy Loomis would be like, come on, be my son.
No, because it made sense to introduce Chad as, like, the actual protector of Jenna Ortega. Like, who she wants to be protected by.
Oh, I forgot. I was... I forgot Jenna Ortega and Chad are...
Yeah.
They're, like, lovers in this movie.
Mhm.
I honestly...
It wouldn't make sense for Chad to, like, take Jenna away from her brother.
I forgot about that, and this whole podcast I've been thinking of them as like siblings almost,
No.
like
Yeah, no.
big brother little sister. But I forgot
They almost kissed twice, and then they actually kissed.
they do like a full makeout session. Then Chad gets just stabbed to high heaven.
Oh, yeah. That was like 10 seconds later. It's
Yeah, so
messed
Chad, Chad does this big old fight, and then the screams just come out and just go.
Yeah, it eventually just ends up being a 2-on-1, and even though Chad is, he's the chattiest Chad,
But-
it wasn't enough.
Just like Dewey, Chad got away on the stretcher because.
After 40 stabs.
So, but in other Scream movies, Dewey is Chad. Dewey's like this cop guy, and
is a goddamn Chad.
he does not die, and he's like the best character. And then he finally died in the last one. Ugh, it makes me angry, but Dewey was the man, and I feel like
that
Chad.
was like a major plot point around Gale.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Chad is the successor to Dewey. Like I feel like Dewey kind of gave his blessing to Chad.
I feel that. And in fact, I think that they should have played into that more with Gale having a stronger relationship towards Chad. Like, I think they should have connected more as characters.
That is something I would have loved to see the smaller characters like Chad and Millie and the other ones. I don't remember their names. Kind of play a bigger role in the plot, because like they're there as kind of protectors, but they're not really there as. Like they're not really
more there for obvious cannon fodder, and they talk about that, but it doesn't make it better that you're aware.
They don't really do anything.
Yeah.
They kind of just react and then scream, and then some of them die, and then get stabbed, and then Chad just is the Chad and saves everybody.
Yeah.
But like other than Chad, like none of the other background characters really needed to be there. Like Chad and Bobby, was that his name, Bobby? The other dude.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was Danny.
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 Chad and Danny, they needed to be there. They had important roles. But, like, Millie didn't need to be there. Whatever Millie's girlfriend's name was didn't need to be there.
Yeah, God, she was forgettable. Sorry. Well, Millie served as, like, she was supposed to be, like, the fourth wall break, like...
She was, like, supposed to be, like, the dude from Scream 3, I think? Or was it 2? He like, the movie Troop guy.
Yeah.
He was a great character, by the way. But they were just rehashing an old joke that was done way better in the original.
Yeah.
Like, it was really funny in the first one because he's like, and most important, like, dude, and rule number 2, don't drink any beer. Hey, man, you want a beer? Hell yeah, I want a beer.
And you know what, yeah, she didn't play any comic relief, which is, like, I feel like the point of her character.
Because she was like the woke feminist of the movie, and so they couldn't have any jokes at her expense. She couldn't have any jokes. She couldn't be comedic, but she was the comedic relief of the movie.
Yeah.
So she's like, she's like,
Unfunny comedic relief.
she's talking about, like, the horror movie tropes and everything, but unlike the dude from the original, you can't make fun of her.
Yeah.
Like, in the first one, everybody kind of makes fun of her, makes fun of the dude, and that's what kind of makes him lovable, because, like, he likes it. He likes the attention.
Yeah.
But she, like...
They just have to sit down and listen.
Like, so, even her clothing is, like, there for, like, most of the movie, she has a shirt that says, like, strong femme leader.
Oh, I didn't even read
And that
her
was,
shirt.
like, her...
Oh my God.
That was, like, literally just her character. Just kind of, like...
Just
I'm the
legitimately
strong...
plastered on the front of it.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
like, the cool chick.
She's the lesbian.
Yeah. And, like, she's, like, wearing a jacket with, like, every single kind of flag on it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you... I don't care.
God darn liberal.
Dang old liberals making Hollywood movies. Wait, Hollywood owns liberals. Jews own Hollywood.
Oh,
No, that's a South Park episode. We'll review that next time. We'll review that episode
got
of
it.
South Park next
You
time.
went a little far on that joke.
No, it's like one of the newest episodes of South Park.
Yeah.
But
Viewership plummets after Jews in Hollywood joke.
fix it in post.
Fix it in post.
But man, I would have really loved to see, because, like, they were talking about, like, a big plot point was, like, legacy characters. They're just thrown in there for, like, nostalgia. Well, like, I wish they would have done more with that. Like, really played into the joke, like how Jurassic World was just terrible with the legacy characters. I wish they would have done, like purposely made it just, like, really bad, but really, really good at the same time.
Yeah, that's very Scream. So it
'Cause,
would have
like-
made sense.
Because, like, what was her name? The reporter chick.
Okay.
Gail, yeah. Gail, she has, like, this boyfriend, and he's supposed... Gail, she has this, like, this muscly boyfriend, and he's supposed to...
does?
Yeah, he's supposed to be, like, this, kind of, like, the replacement for Dewey, that... And, like, Ghostface is like, you couldn't find your replacement for Dewey. Dewey's the only one you ever loved. And, like, I don't even think he says anything in the whole movie.
He doesn't have any lines.
His character was so stupid. Like, why not just keep Dewey? Like, it was so...
Well, I don't know about that, because it was a pretty major thing that she was grieving Dewey the entire time.
I know, but...
I think, the first guy who gets killed in his apartment, the wannabe Ghostface guy?
Yeah, the Flash from Spider-Man.
Exact, Flash from Spider-Man. That guy, you know how he gets killed, from his own perspective. Like, we're seeing his perspective. He goes to his apartment. So the movie isn't from the perspective of Sam and Jenna Ortega. I already forgot a character's name. I'm just going to call her Jenna Ortega.
That's what I've been calling her.
Yep, same here. But it's not from their perspective. The movie just chooses to follow them. And it's like, I think it would have been nice if we swapped perspectives more and got more insight into the side characters.
Yeah.
Like the way that they were just built around Sam, it was pretty obvious that they were just cannon fodder to build Jenna Ortega and Sam's character. But, like, if they had their own characters, it would have been like, I don't know who's going to die. It would have made more suspenseful. Speaking
of Sam, honestly wish they would have killed her off.
Really?
Because, like, a big, like, when they were talking about the trope scene, when they were talking about all the tropes, the chick's like, even the main characters aren't safe anymore. Like, the ultra main characters.
Yeah.
And it would have made a lot of sense for Sam to sacrifice
It is
herself.
weird that they picked and chose what that girl got right.
Because like if Sam died, they could, like, if they wanted to continue the series, they could have passed the legacy on to Jenna Ortega and made her the final girl and made her like
Yeah.
and made it primarily about her and Chad. And they could have made like the whole series change.
Yeah, I think the only issue with that is because I think it would have started a cycle in that the only reasonable place for Jenna Ortega to go if Sam dies is start where the movie starts with Sam, but Jenna Ortega in therapy, talking about how she can't, she's having psychotic breakdowns because she can't get over all of her family does. So it's like, I think it would have just started a cycle of Jenna Ortega just being the same character as Sam.
I think what might happen is Sam is probably going to turn evil.
Yeah.
Because, she
Chased for blood type of thing.
Yeah, she killed the dude at the end. She's like, I'm a killer now. And then also, the very final scene, like, shot of the movie is Ghostface with the shotgun again. And you see, like, a bullet go off and then reloading. And that wasn't in the movie. So I think that's, like, a kind of like a Scream might return.
Ooh, you know what I literally just thought of that honestly annoyed me enough to take it from a 7.5 to a 7. In fact, everything that we've been talking about,
The post-credit scene.
That's what I was about to say. The post-credit scene. Dude, what a waste. What a joke.
It wasn't even a joke. So,
Oh my God.
you watch through the entire credits. You're expecting...
You sit there for 15 minutes.
You're expecting something, something interesting. You sit there for like 10,
teaser.
15 minutes. And
Just
so
blood flowing.
it ends with the Millie, the trope chick. She's like, and one other thing, end credit scenes suck. And then the movie just ends. And right after we said that...
No, she said not every movie needs
Oh yeah, she's like,
scene.
not every movie needs an end credit scene. And I just turned to...
The movie just stops.
I turned to Mr. Bettis, and I was like, that was the most lame end credit scene
Big
I've ever
Bettis
seen.
stuff.
But I mean, like, seriously,
Oh,
why did they think that was
such
good?
a waste.
They could have done something.
They could have even like played into that and made another character say like a joke about that. Anything that wasn't.
Or they could have even broke the fourth wall and had Millie just go, I knew it, and then end the movie.
Honestly, that would have been kind of fun.
During the initial trope scene, if they would have gone. And one other thing, end credit scenes are not necessary. And then go back to that at the very end of the movie.
But she winks at the camera.
She's like, I told you, and then wink, and then the movie ends. That would have been hilarious. But
at least it would have been something.
it would have been an actual joke instead of just like a little random you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, absolute waste.
But also,
It's still recording, right?
yeah, it's still recording. One thing I did like, they got Nick Cage back again. They played the Nick Cage song, or not Nick Cage.
I was about to say
Nick Cave.
Mm.
So Nick Cave, he's kind of like the unofficial Scream theme song. That song that you played from the Here in Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's they use that for like the Scream
opening
movies.
to every Peaky Blinders episode. Yeah.
Mhm. That's
that
like
song?
that's like the unofficial Scream theme song.
Okay,
Pretty
love
much
that.
all. There's like 2 of them that don't have it, but the rest do.
Yeah.
I was really happy they added that.
Beautiful.
It was it.
They added it
And
twice.
they only added it in scenes that really needed it.
Yeah.
And it worked
That
really
was
well.
nice.
Oh, also, on a positive note,
7.5 was too high. The more we talk about this, my rating was absurd.
the final like kill had really great cinematography
Oh.
because like it's in the final scene or like the final.
Are you talking about the stabbing or the balcony shot?
No. I'm talking
both of
about
them.
so in the set, like where it takes place in the
Set
very
design.
the very last scene or like kill of the movie. They're in a movie theater, and there's like a homemade, like all the stab movies are playing right on the projector, and so the main character Sam, she dresses up as her father wearing Billy Loomis's cloak. She has a mask on. She has her dad's knife, and so the movie of Stab is playing behind them, and like there's fire everywhere because like the house is on fire in the movie. And so you just see her walk up and there's like flames everywhere, and there's not actually flames there, but there's flames on the like the sheet curtain. And so she walks up and she moves the curtain like behind her, and then she stabs the bad guy. But the fire was just really cool. I thought that was a really good piece of cinematography.
Yeah, they achieved that without having fire. Like the place wasn't on fire. It was just they were behind a screen that was playing a movie that had fire on it.
It definitely made it
was
a lot more memorable. I mean, it was so much better than just like her walking up behind him.
You know what I did think was a legitimately good piece of and maybe this is just because I don't watch enough Scream, but this actually did subvert me a little bit. Is that when they said like the FBI lady locked herself in there with them, I did believe that she was the killer when they said that.
That was really good. That was a good bait and switch.
I was like, oh damn, that makes total sense. She locked them in there. She has the gun. Makes total sense that she's a killer. And that was some good stuff.
But they didn't explain, like, a plot point of the FBI lady was she got kicked off of the force, right?
No, I think that was.
He was just lying. He was just lying. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Because then she's like, don't believe anything he said, and then it turns out she was good. So, she was right. She shouldn't have believed anything he said.
Yeah.
This is a good podcast. We need to every time we're gonna see a target, we need to come in and see how long it takes to get kicked out of target.
So let's get our final thoughts here on the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think first off,
Scream 6?
I think my rating dropped a bit since we've been talking about it. I think I had the train scene too stuck in my head because that's like a 9.5 out of 10 scene.
The train scene is legitimately a 9.5. It's
good.
One of the best horror scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Well shot. It had good transition. The lighting beautiful.
And
the concept.
Yeah, the concept and the suspense. It's a lot like the scene in the Batman 2022 when he's on the train and all the masked Jokers come up, and in the Joker movie, of course. Yeah. It's funny it happens in both of those. It's a lot similar to that, but like built upon it so much way better.
I honestly want our next episode either to half be on this or fully be on this is the Joker film, as old as it is. I love that movie.
Well, you know what? We can maybe we'll start setting up like Zoom calls, have a podcast.
That'd be cool. We would both need to have a beanbag, so keep the theme. Yeah, I think my rating dropped a bit.
Scream 6. What would you give it?
I would say a 7. But the end credit scene almost drops it to a 6.5. The end credit scene. I'm gonna say 6.8. Fuck it.
All right.
I'm giving it a 6.8.
I'm gonna keep my my score of 6.5. Really, for a modern horror movie, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but not a crazy high bar. But
compared
worth the watch for sure.
As a franchise, as they say it, they did a good job.
Worth the watch for Chad alone, really.
Chad, we stand him.
Ooh. If we're leaving with one thing today, it's Chad.
It's Chad.
And Jen Ortega's nuts.
Jen Ortega's boobies. Boobly oobies.
Bazoingas.
Clown Town. Honk honk. Anyways.
It's gonna make me go, oh, woo, guys.
Anyways, if you're watching this, Jen Ortega, thank you. Alrighty, everybody.
It's for the community.
Thanks for watching Boys in Bags.
Okay, cool. I thought you were going to say the name that I can't say.
Tune in next time if we ever do another one. Thanks to my co-host here, Jack Bettis. I'm of course your host,
Dave Batista.
Hadeen Sparkman. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Ding a 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 ding.